Welcome to this week's Powerback. Look, earlier this week, we talked with Brandy Yates about the power of human design and how beautifully intricate that it is. And human design is a very powerful tool to really help you understand who you are and how you operate the best. A lot of human design is about honoring who you are and standing in your own alignment. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Because while it's super important to know when you're in alignment, it's also just as important to recognize and understand when you're out of alignment. Before we get into a few tips, I want to first let you know that the Gutsy Collective has relaunched itself. Okay, let's be honest, it didn't relaunch itself. I aligned myself and relaunched it for you. In case you're not familiar, the Gutsy Collective is my online community where energetically driven female entrepreneurs and people with a higher calling come together on a monthly basis to have meaningful conversations and get fucking answers to the questions that keep you up at night. There is also the Gutsy Collective local, where we meet once a month in my building in downtown Greencastle, PA. So whether you're in Australia or in the States or anywhere else in the world, you can learn more about the Gutsy Collective and its membership at LauraAura.com. All right, friends, back into alignment. First, let's talk about what alignment actually is. In the most simplistic of ways, alignment is when you are doing, being, responding, and acting wholeheartedly as yourself. You are making decisions that feel good to you. You're expressing yourself in ways that feel the most natural. You're getting rid of shit that doesn't feel right anymore. And you're truly simply following the things that bring you the most joy. Look, when you're in alignment, everything flows easier. Now, I'm not saying that things are perfect or everything's always going to be like hunky fucky dory. But when you are in alignment and you understand what your own personal alignment is, you are better equipped to handle situations that run off the rails sometimes. And for the most part, you live a life that's way more peaceful, much more enjoyable, and you get to expand your business in a way that feels right, not in the way that you feel like you should. So all that shit sounds wonderful, right? Like ultimately that's what we are trying to achieve. And so to achieve personal alignment, it's really important to understand when and how you are out of alignment. So here are a few ways that you can recognize when you are thrown off your damn rocker. First and foremost, the overarching category here is awareness. Start to take notice when your energy shifts, when you start to feel resistance, when you start to feel anger or sadness or just any kind of emotion that isn't your norm. Because if you know in your own personal alignment, you are more carefree and joyful and playful and just kind of spunky. And then all of a sudden one day you are bitter and kind of want to fuck some shit up. I'm going to guess that something has driven you out of alignment. So start to build awareness around yourself. This is literally one of the most powerful things that you can do. Because when you have awareness, you can start to make decisions from a more aligned space versus reacting to something or flipping tables over. And it's not always about anger either, too, right? Like sometimes these things implement themselves in our lives and we just accept them. If you're talking specifically about business, this is taking on a service that everyone else is doing. And so you're doing the service, you're offering it, you're pushing it out there. Maybe it's not working the way that you want it to. Maybe it is really working, but it's just draining you. And then ultimately you end up really uninspired and don't want to do the work in your business. That is awareness of misalignment. So building awareness is foundational. And to transition right into the second thing is recognize when you start saying, I should. I should go to this event. I should hang out with this person. I should offer this service. I should dress this way. I should make my content this way. I should create content a certain way and create a calendar a certain way and use all of these very particular apps. Now, I think that there's a lot of merit in experimenting to find out what your alignment is, because you'll notice very quickly when it's something for you, it becomes fun and easier and exciting. When you're misaligned, however, it stays feeling like a should. I should work out, and therefore it's hard. And now it's one more thing I have to do. So, something that you can do is start to replace the phrase I should. And the way to do this is to replace it with I want to or I don't want to. Yes, you're going to have days where you don't feel like doing shit. You're a human outside of all of this. But on a regular basis, being in alignment means making decisions that feel right to you. And when you start saying things like, I want to expand my business, I want to offer a group session, I want to go to that event, you'll start to recognize the energy shift. And if you're really not wanting to do that, but you're saying I want to, but your body's like, ew, that's not feeling right to me, then it's not for you. Start to honor those feelings. Your body will not lie to you. I promise you that. And sometimes I hear people say, okay, Laura, well, I followed my intuition and it led me down this really shitty road. And now I don't really want to do that again. I get it. I have listened to my intuition and it has driven me down some gravel ass road in the middle of the night while things are ablaze. And so I question that and I say, okay, all right, aligned self, why did we do that? 9.5 times out of 10, it's because there was information there that was necessary. There was something in that for you to learn. There was an experience for you to gain. There were tools that you needed to pick up so that you could put in your tool belt so that you're better prepared for the next situation. Your intuition is incredibly smart and it is always, always leaving you breadcrumbs. And lastly, recognize what drains you. This is usually the stuff that you procrastinate like hell on. Like you would rather scrape your teeth down a chalkboard than to perform this action. So when you recognize these things, there's one of two things typically happening is one, it needs delegated. This is something that you do not need to be investing your time in, but rather, how can I support someone else that loves to do this thing so that they can then in turn support me? Or it's a very, very, very glaring sign that this is out of alignment. I'll give you an example. I experimented and dabbled in creating online courses. Everyone was doing it. I felt like I should. So, guess what I did? I made courses after kicking and screaming and procrastinating like hell. And eventually they got done, and ultimately they didn't sell. I can very clearly look back now and see and feel how I felt like it was a should, how it was draining me, and how much I just really didn't want to do it. Look, that's this whole premise is recognizing the things that you just really truly don't want to do or have in your life and honoring your body and your system that says, hey, what if we try this instead? What if we're more vulnerable in our own way? What if we show up in our business in a way that feels right to us? What if we're offering services that feel like magically delicious? What if we're dressing in a way that makes us feel confident and empowered? And what is one way that we can start to do that today? Look, this isn't an overnight fix. This is not a quick hack. This is literally a lifestyle shift. With every aligned decision that you make, you start to experience your own personal alignment a little bit more. And then you do it again and you feel a little more alive. And you do it again and you start to realize I'm not willing to sacrifice myself anymore. I know that this is a journey and that's why this is what I do for a living. So if you're like, I would love to discover more about this. I want to learn more about myself and I'm ready to fucking be alive again. I'm ready for my business to feel fun and exciting again. I'm ready to just start living, maybe even for the first time ever. I invite you to go to LauraAura.com. It would truly be an honor to be a guide on your alignment journey. You can either directly sign up for my coaching services or packages, join the Gutsy Collective, or if you're not sure where to start, book a call. Let's have a conversation. And I promise you, by the end of our conversation, you'll know what to do next. You might even start to believe in yourself a little bit more. On next week's episode of the Gutsy Podcast, episode 134 is with Bev Feldman, and we're going to talk about showing up authentically in your email marketing campaigns. I know that automation and emails can sometimes feel like dry and stuffy and like I just don't want it to look and feel like that. Great news, you can also be aligned in your email. I'd love to connect with you outside of the podcast. I play the most on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me at that LauraAura. And as always, until I see you next time, stay gutsy.